So, this video today is simply a preventative video. So when the people say, "Oh, Jesse, you don't know that much about politics. How can you say you know as much as somebody who's been in politics their whole life?" I'll tell you right now, this is why. For somebody who's been given and told that they are smart and they're great and they're going to do great things their whole life, that's great, and it builds, encouragement, and builds with that, and it's great for that person's self-esteem. But that person becomes content. Whereas someone like me, who's been told they're retarded, told they're different, told they're never going to be anything, and they're going to be in a group home their whole life by their own mother, and all these things, and by people, and saying that I'm retarded, I'm this, that, and the other. And the difference between me and that other person is that I refused to let that define who I am. I refuse to let those people tell me what I could and could not do in life. I refuse to let those people define my intellectual capacity. I refuse to allow those people to choose my level of education based on what they teach me. As a 90s baby and a millennial, I have access to this beautiful thing called a smartphone. It's filled with a bunch of things called documentaries, Wikipedia, Google, and all these other things that allow us, you can go on ohiobar.org and basically study yourself and basically make yourself a certified paralegal. I mean, not in the eyes of society, and you won't have a diploma, but you'll know your shit pretty darn well. And that's what it boils down back to, is knowing your shit. Today's youth don't know anything about what's going on in the legislative branch, the executive branch, or the judicial branch. They don't even know the 3 fucking branches. Congress, Senate, and I'm not saying that to make fun of mentally handicapped people or anything like that, or, I'm just using that as a, pointing more towards ignorance, because ignorance is more lethal than this fucking corona thing, I'll tell you that right now. Because as millennials, we should be surpassing our parents by far by now. But instead we choose to devolve, fill our head with shit, and allow us to fall into the routine that they want us to fall in. I mean, I know there's a lot of security concerns of it, but do you ever wonder why there ain't no app to vote? Or you don't see anything on Facebook or Twitter about congressmen? Do you even know who your congressmen are? Do you even know who the people who represent you are? Because one of these future lives I'm going to do is I'm going to print out and blow up all their pictures and ask you, do you know this person? Do you know this person? Do you know this person? And the reason that is because they've been in there for years, and as young people, you've never met them. Okay? They don't come back to Ohio. They don't come speak to you. They don't come fight for you. They don't come tell you what they're doing because they don't care about you. They don't represent you. Okay? This whole corona thing is a load of bullshit. It's nothing more than a government ploy to control the masses, okay? If it is an actual epidemic, it's only caused by the release of a virus from the Wuhan lab that I believe, from watching a couple of, things on it, that and I can't say that it's true. I mean, it's just a theory. It's just just like my theory is, it can't be proven that the government's controlling, but I know they are. I don't need proof. I know. You got to think about this. Okay. Now, the only reason it was so lethal in China is because of the living conditions of China. Think of the overpopulation. Think of everybody who's next to each other. Think of also China is a communist country. They don't care about the poor like we do. They don't care if they're vaccinated, if they can't afford it, if they're not a part of that. They don't give a shit. You know what I mean? And they don't showcase that. They also will never showcase, the China Communist Party will never showcase the fact that how dramatically affected their economy is by the American people not buying their products and the imports of their products being halted into America due to the corona, quote unquote. Now, with the corona, I believe it was the Chinese testing SARS, or diseases with corona bats to try to make it so the virus, basically the genomes in it, basically interact with the cells, and basically making human transaction very easy. Now, I believe it's a experimentation for biological warfare by the Chinese, because that's the only way they can fuck with us. Because, simply put, us and Russia have the most nukes among any other nation in the world. Okay, that's plain and simple. The U.S. and Russia could nuke China 20 times over, and still have enough nukes to not nuke the rest of the world. Now, I'm not saying that as stating that that is a power. It's the nuclear devices have been designed to be a deterrent, okay, of war. After Hiroshima and Nagasaki, nobody ever wants to see that kind of devastation again. Now, when we did the nuclear bomb and all that shit, we didn't understand the long-term effects of radiation and of a nuclear bomb. We didn't understand the birth defects that it would cause, the pure, just absolutely cruel and brutal way to die if you aren't in the blast radius. People who were 5 miles out suffering heavy burns, people jumping into water, buildings on fire. It was just, you watched, I recommend anybody watching the documentary on Netflix called Hiroshima. It really got to me. Now, I don't believe we should ever use nuclear weapons on anybody, if at all costs avoidable. I believe the nuclear deterrent is just like a gun. It's a shield. You don't want to use it, and it's just the last resort option. But it prevents, large-scale wars from breaking out, if you will. World War kind of keeps all the powers in check, if you will. It's an ugly truth, but it's needed. Now, here's why the government I believe, is making this whole thing a ploy to make the masses live in fear. Basically, they took that, the Democrats, if you will, Democratic Party, they took that to create fear, try to shut down the polls, make public, just see how many people they can control with this whole mask bullshit going on. They want to see if how many people, if they just put something out, if they can get it control. I don't know if you know this, but if you go on your cleaning products, you can literally see coronaviruses on the goddamn shit. Human coronaviruses. Which means they've been around for a while. But people have become so uneducated and ignorant that they believe whatever they're told on their little box that people love to watch. And Facebook and all the other shit. These members have now become corrupt and have now run rampant. And now they're trying to make it so that people won't go to the polls, and now they have to mail in their ballots. And the thing with that is, that's like the game of telephone. Okay, the more hands it passes through, the more chances it has of fraud and being fucked with. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't trust my votes going through a mass mail-in. Okay, do you know how easily your mail-in vote could be received at a place, opened, scanned, then perfectly copied, and your signature forged, and then sent in for another person? So like you vote for Trump, you could get your shit put to Joe Biden. That's what the Democrats want. They want to be able to rig the election, but then they want to witch hunt Trump for doing that shit, quote unquote. But the reality is, the only Trump may have been guilty of was maybe trying to make some, business deals for his own economic gain, not selling secrets or trying to, rig the election. If he won, or they wasn't trying to do that shit. It's just like, hey, if I win, can I get some hook up on some nice business deals over here? Blah, 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 blah. So what? So fucking what? Now, In November, we'll find out if I'm right or wrong. We will see. You know, I'm not saying that everything that I state about, what's going on is 100% factual. Some of the stuff that I say may be theoretical. But I want you as a younger generation to ask yourself these questions. I want you to rally behind me. I want you to see that somebody who's your age cares about what's going on and realizes the corruption that's going on behind the scenes. Y'all going to the streets and doing all this shit, this isn't doing anything but making the people in power laugh at you. Like the dumbasses that they have led you to be. But here's the thing. With our smartphones, we don't have to live in ignorance. Ignorance can be fixed through education. Okay, and it's okay to have an opinion. But as a younger people, to be taken seriously, we need to have an informed one. Not one based on bullshit that does not matter. It's not about black or white. It's not about cop or civilian. It's not about Democratic or Republican. It's not about the rich and the poor. Right now, it's good people versus bad people. It don't matter where you go in life. It don't matter what you do. You're still going to have good and bad people. And that comes down to the individual's choice to be that person, to be that change in the world that we all want to see. I plan on running for Congress in 4 years. I may lose. I may win. The way I see it, in order to fail, you must first try. And the same goes for succeeding. In order to succeed, you must first attempt or try. If I don't try, how do I know if I can or cannot make this world a better place for my daughter? I have to. And everyone says I should go to state and local government. No, I'm not doing that. You know why? Because I'm using my own life as an example of why I should be in Congress. And it's coming from what I came from to where I am today, from all the hell I've been through, being homeless, being put on pharmaceuticals for the better half of my childhood, being, told I couldn't be something that I know I can be. Kicked out at 18, had to learn how to fight and swim on my own in this ugly world, and it was not fun. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. And that's why I want to get into Congress. So I want to try to fix the environment as well. There's over in what fucking country it was in Africa, but 350 elephants is up and died. And they're saying it's all corona and then possibly corona related. That's a load of bullshit. It's fucking global warming and shit's going to get fucked up. That 2012 shit, that shit will be a reality if we don't check our shit at the door. Now, it ain't going to be no 2000, like that they said 2012. No, if we don't stop this in the next 50 years, it will be 2012. We will not see 21. Okay, we will not see 2100. Or, I don't know, 2021, 2000, 21,000. You're 21,000, my bad. Brain fart there. Again, I'm human. I'm not perfect. But I will never stop learning until the day I die. I will never stop doing my best to find a better way to do things for this world, for my daughter. I will never stop finding better ways to learn from people. Because that's the thing. I've taken from multiple people. People that I don't even talk to anymore, some people that I'm so close with, I've taken from all aspects of life. Everything's relative in my Ebright'S theory. Ebright'S stands for Ebright'S theory of relativity. It's the Tor stands for my daughter. I named after my daughter Victoria. We have her professional name as well as a cute, kid name. It's basically states that everything's relative, and it's funny. When I first thought of the theory, I thought it was funny story. I thought it was I was like, based on Einstein's theory of relativity, I thought that everything was relative. And thanks to Google and my smartphone, I was educated on that matter, and I found out that it was most definitely not. It has nothing to do with things being relative. It has to do with, gravity and matter and shit like that. So, again, I'm not perfect. I learn every day. And because we have phones, it's left up to the individual. When I get into Congress, I plan on changing shit. Okay? In multiple ways. I have plans for social programs. I have plans for the economic infrastructure to, bring a whole new sales tax revenue in that could blow everything out the water, but then repair everything without having to increase, individual income tax. So it's a big fucking deal. I'm no chump. I know my shit. My father was a Freemason and a very intelligent man, but he drank himself to death because he couldn't live in ignorance because he was too intelligent. Okay? And, he died at 57. Now, and that's my beginning policy is I want to remove hard liquor. Okay? Not remove, I should say remove. I want to double it. Okay? So beer's cool. Don't worry. Beer's not getting touched. Okay? My grandpa's 73 years old and has a case of Bush in his fridge at all time. I know plenty of old beer drinkers. Okay? It's the hard liquor. Okay? And I'm not planning on removing it, but I'm going to double it. So like a bottle of Bullet Bourbon, my favorite whiskey. I love that shit. Fuck, Captain Morgan even. I love it. It was my dad's favorite drink. But it is lethal. So we need, if somebody wants to be that and choose that route, if we get marijuana legalized and you still find the need to drink yourself to death when we have a healthier option, look at Tommy Chong. He's 81 and still doing lives with the coronavirus because corona is more than likely curable through marijuana smoke. I cannot prove it. I'm not saying that is a factual statement, but I smoke weed and I have not contracted any corona. Actually, I had a nasty cough and then literally hawked a loogie like it was gone. And the thing about that is because, and the reason why I state this now, I know I'm jumping all over the place here, but I like to keep it, entertaining. Young people, they don't like staying on one subject too long. They'll get bored. So let's say, they say cigarettes. That's been said that makes the, quote unquote, the environment for corona inhabitable. Now, like I said, coronavirus is a thing, but it's not a new thing that the government's trying to blow up. Okay? All it is a mutated version of SARS that the Chinese was trying to weaponize to maybe do biological warfare. Okay? Making human-to-human transaction and infection very easy. You know what I mean? Or transfer, not transaction. Transaction is when you purchase something. God. See, like I said, I'm not perfect. I'm human. I'm just like you. I'm learning every day. I'm not trying to be something I'm not. And when I go into Congress, I'll never stop being me. I will show up to Congress, a nice shirt, khakis. I'm not going to go in this freaking suit, though. Kiss my ass. I'll get a nice shirt on, nice golf tee like this. I'm there for my insight and my opinion on the future. I'm not there for a fashion show. And, my buddy says I can't get in there because, you openly smoke weed. Yeah, I do. Because you know what? It's a better option than alcohol. Okay? Way better. My father died at 57. I'm not saying I need weed. I don't need it. I go to my job every day sober. I have no problem with that. But when I come home and I'm stressed out, instead of being angry and yelling at my lady and shit about shit that I'm stressed about, I hit a bolt. And guess what? It doesn't kill my liver. And I'm not going to apologize for it. For doing it a better way. And when we get it legalized in all 50 states, you're talking about a $53 billion a year tax revenue. Or 53 trillion. I bet. Million, trillion, billion. Yeah. There we go. Million, trillion, billion. Or is it million, billion, trillion? I don't know. I'll have to Google that later. It's great education. It's a very beautiful thing. But I'm pretty sure Colorado generated either, I think it was 1 trillion. Or 1 billion. No, it's billion. I'm an idiot. Sorry. I'm learning every day. I'm trying to fix that. It's $1 billion. Actually, don't quote me on that, because actually I'm going to look that up after this video just to confirm. But it was a fuck ton of money, nevertheless. And you times that by all 50 states. Now, Colorado is a state that doesn't suck. California is a state that doesn't suck. They're just all dumb. That's how Pelosi got into office. Dumbass bitch. He has no business being there. God. And that's another thing, when we get that legalized all 50 states, people are going to chill and look deeper beneath the surface, because weed doesn't impair the mind. It expands it. Allows you to, at least for me anyways. I mean, it may not be, may also result in, I can't say that, being lazy, hungry, sleepy, okay, and happy. Now, if you ask me, the effects of that are much more better than drunk, who, when you're physically impaired, you can't talk straight. I mean, you can't, you have lack of motor skills. Drunks are, temperamental. They abuse their families. I mean, you ever hear about a pothead coming home and beating their kids? Fuck no. You ever hear a pothead beating their wife? No. Absolutely not. You don't hear about it because it doesn't happen. And the sad thing is, at the end of the day, the reason, now I'm getting off subject, I'm jumping over to another thing. Stay with me. There's a method to my madness. I have a huge plan to get everything going. And we can fix the entire world. I'm not kidding. The United States in just a matter of 10 years. We just got to get the right people in Congress. By right people, I mean me. I'm not saying that I'm better than anybody. I'm not saying that I'm more educated than everybody in the world, because I'm not. Not at all. There's people who are far more educated than me. Lex Holsworth, for example, who's a young CEO of Lightyear One. Elon Musk, far more educated than I. But I would love to pick both of those people's brains. I would love to sit down and talk to both of those men, because they have so much knowledge that I could take from them and learn from them and put with my own. You know what I mean? So, that's why I'm the best fit, because I'm never going to be content with what I accomplish for the American people, because the American people also includes my daughter. And I will never stop for as long as I breathe in trying to bring change and economic prosperity and peace to one another as long as I breathe, so my daughter has a better world to live in. I want to take the tax revenue 1 year from marijuana and put it as basically a down payment with the timber industry. I want to give them the whole entire year's worth of revenue from it and put it down like a secure credit card and be like, now take this and invest in hemp, because my daughter needs trees to breathe. You have nothing to lose now. Start building back, start finding people to build processing plants, build, the new paper around hemp. Now, you still can use wood for, because you can plant trees. They're still reusable, but it takes 30 to 40 years for it to be able to harvest a tree. So, with that being said, let's keep the lumber industry to just lumber for building houses, okay? And use hemp for the toilet paper, the paper, and all the other supplies that we use on a daily basis, so we don't kill our trees for it. Like, the fuck? My daughter needs to breathe, dude. Also, the first 3 years, I'm going to invest in the solar energy. And privatizing that to the homeowners. I want to make the privatization of energy achievable, because what I'm going to do is the first 3 years, I'm going to invest in solar energy. First 2 years, 1 year is going to be fully into research and development. Second year's into manufacturing facilities and shipment centers, as well as training, like schools, to cross-train the people who are at the utility companies already at Ohio Edison, so they are trained to fix these solar panels, okay? It's still electricity. They're already trained to be electricians. Why not cross-train them to fix the panels? Because, they're complex technology, right? Things are going to go wrong, things are going to happen, and we need people to fix those. That's how we keep those people employed. That's what I'm saying. We don't force it immediately, and that's the thing with change. We don't just jump gun. People are going to lose their jobs. People are going to do this. But if we don't start gradually changing and switching towards that, we're going to kill our world. Okay? I know it's a child's movie, but Moana, yeah. That will be a reality, if we don't fix our mistakes, that blackness that will just come and destroy our world, it's going to be a thing if we don't stop it. So, and now the third year, and this is the kicker, first year, second year, now third year, all that money is going to be spent on free installation to homeowners in high intensity UV states to begin that change. So Arizona, Texas, California, Nevada, Arizona, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, we can keep going. New Mexico, we put all these UV things in these high intensity UV states, and what this will do, this will allow the way for electric cars to become about. Okay, and this does multiple things. It reduces the emissions in the into the ozone, affecting that. We're not going to totally get rid of steel cars, but we're going to make them all get rid of anything before 2015. Bye. Now, I'm not saying we're going to make everybody trade up, but we're going to remove all the scrap yards from that once we make that. Anything that's 2015 or less, maybe 2010. We'll make it 2010 to 2015, somewhere in there. Because by the time I'm getting there, that's 15 years. Okay? And we need to get rid of all the cars past that. That's covering up so much space. We can melt those parts down and reuse them for reinforcement structures, for buildings and stuff like that. Clearing up also mass amounts of area. You know how much area is covered in cars? Now, once we privatize home, this is how the electric cars will become a thing. Now, when you get an electric car, the average electric car battery is 60 to 80 kilowatts. The average home use is 12 to 20 kilowatts per month. Okay, when you get an electric car, you're also adding to your electric bill, getting quadrupling it, timesing it by 4. Okay, with that being said, it's not very practical to have a car note, insurance, and having an electric bill that's 4 times the size of its normal, that's 4 times the amount that it normally is. You know what I mean? And quick charging stations, not that many. It's only in Hudson, Twinsburg, and shit like that, the rich areas. Now, once I show these results, I am going to go into, I want to collaborate with Lex Holsluth. Okay, Lex Holsluth is a very intelligent man. Okay, he's widely respected in the electric car industry. He's a young CEO and Dutch CEO. He's great. They're doing this whole solar power car thing. There's no design, no plan yet to sell in the U.S., but I want to make that the mainstream Tesla. And Lex Holsluth, I want to be the one in Congress to help get you guys into where you guys need to be. I want those minds. Because the people in Congress, the issue is they don't respect those people. And they don't allow other people anybody who's not for the Democratic or Republican Party to debate, simply because that they don't want smarter people to show the world how stupid they are. So, like, somebody who's a moderate could run against them, or Elon Musk, or someone like me could run against them. Now, I'm not saying I'm smarter than everybody in Congress, or I'm more educated than everybody, okay? But the current nominees for president, yes, I most definitely am. Now, Trump may have more education as far as the business standpoint goes. I'm not going to try to deny that. He's a great economic leader. But outside of that, in politics, he is a piss-on compared to me, as far as the knowledge of understanding how to lead a people, speak publicly, and maintain a level head despite people saying a bunch of shit about you. I have all too much experience about that. My own mom don't believe me. You think some Joe Smo down the street, I give a fuck what you think about me? No. I'm here to represent the people, and I'm not going to be able to make everybody happy. That's impossible. But I'm going to do my best to make this world a better place for my daughter and fix this environment. Because when we make that solar energy a thing, we're going to free up so much space. And I myself have come up with a plan to remove all of our world's waste and dissolve it with hydrochloric acid. Now, this theory may be controversial due to the amount that it costs to make the amount hydrochloric acid costs, blah, 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 blah. But I also have a way to evaporate all the gases, the toxins as well as the hydrochloric acid, while basically also taking the leftover liquid waste that can't be turned to a gaseous state to another containment unit. So we have 2 containment units, okay? And we allow those containment units to have a slow release function, basically allowing small amounts of that to be released at a time for testing. The gases will obviously put it into like a balloon or something like that, and we'll test the toxicity level on that before we allow it to be released into the environment. Same with the water portion. So it's pretty groundbreaking, but nobody will listen to me because nobody knows who I am. Nobody will listen to me because I don't have an education. But as Elon Musk said, I'm tired of people confusing intelligence with education. Somebody can have a bachelor's degree and still be an idiot. Shit, my mom's an RN and still can't undertake accountability for her own fuck-ups at 52. I take accountability for all my mistakes. But here's the thing. Let me stop right there. They're not mistakes. They are, but they're not. Because I learned from every one of them. And when you learn from mistakes, they're not bad things. They're lessons learned. You have to be young and dumb to become wise and old. Sometimes when you're younger and dumber than everybody else, sometimes you have to grow up real quick. And you get wise and old real quick. I also want to, and with all that being said, that's why I feel like I'm the best fit for office. I have all these plans and I have all these ideas and all these ways to improve our country. And I'm only 26. What do you think is going to happen when I go to law school and I get more educated on everything? I get on the job and I learn on the job like none other. I started my job at Lindsay Construction Design a month and a half ago. I only spent 10 hours canvassing and I got over $100,000 in sales for my job. Now the reason that is, it was when I was training, I listened to everything my trainer said. I took everything from everybody. Eric said that there's nobody stopping on main roads, so today I'm going to be stopping all up and down North Hill. I'm literally going to park at the apartment falls, and I'm going to walk all the way up and down that main road because he said nobody's hitting main roads. That's okay. Okay. I'll hop out and walk. And I'll go talk to those people because I want to make sure they get their roof taken care of because I represent the people. So what I do now is I go around, I do door-to-door sales, and I represent the people, and I fight for them on their behalf. I can get the insurance to pay what they're supposed to pay. And a lot of times they try to dick them around and not do them right and try to get shit not paid, taken care of, and I'm like, nah. And all my roofs are getting approved, while the ones that my boss referred to me and told me I should pursue are not getting approved. They're denied. But all mine that he said I didn't know what I was talking about, they're all getting approved left and right. Because I don't waste the homeowner's time. Unless I know there's damage. Unless I see craters, I'm not going to waste their time on what ifs. The fuck? And that was the last job that my boss sent me to, was a what if. Fuck you. I didn't even want to file that claim. I told him we shouldn't. And guess what? It was denied. I was right. But I don't know what I'm doing. Because I listen. That's why I smoke weed. That's also why I'm kind of fat. I like to put food in my mouth and smoke weed so I can shut the fuck up and listen. Okay? And that's the problem with today's youth. They just want to talk. They just want to talk. I want my voice to be heard. I want my voice to be heard. Well, you're not channeling your voice properly. Okay? Your voice is designed in this vast world population. Your voice is designed to be heard by representatives from each state. And when you don't even know who those representatives are, how the fuck is your voice going to be heard? And that's the problem with today. And I also plan on trying to make it so that voting is done via app. Now, I know that it's very crazy to think about, but if you have a constant live feed, just like you have Facebook, my theory, if you have a constant live feed, just like how you do on Facebook, when you do that live shit. Now, when you make the voting occur, you basically make a live stream that's viewed publicly on a TV. So everyone who's voting, everybody, it doesn't matter. It doesn't, you don't need to put their social. You can tell show their name and where they're from. Okay, when they vote. So when they vote, it immediately states shows on the TV who you voted for and where each nominee is in the polls. Because here's the thing, the reason they don't do that is because those people in Congress don't want young people to vote. They don't want them to know. They want to continue to keep them in ignorance so they can control them. Well, the problem with that is once those corrupt old people are all dead and their time is done, we're left with a bunch of morons who don't know what the fuck is going on. And that's an issue. And that's not going to be cool for the future. That's not okay for my daughter. That's not okay for me. I've been trying to do other things like I'm going to start making a short video channel where it's just like nothing more than 20 minutes, and then I'm going to have a much more educational channel where I go into much more in-depth way on how I'm going to fix this economic infrastructure with weed alone. I mean, I'm going to take that natural renewable resource and turn it into the multi-billion, $56 billion cash crop that it is. Okay. And revamp our entire economic infrastructure. And when we have, this booming economy and shit like that, and all these things are made after the first 5 years of investment with the legalization of marijuana, every year after that, I'm going to be putting it all towards a deficit. And that's the thing we need to do. When we start putting everything after that 5 years into the deficit, and our national deficit just plummets, dude. And then our economy is better than it ever was before, ever, even when Trump was in office. And I'm not even in the presidential seat yet, okay? I'm in the Congress. I'm not even going to try to run for the executive office until I fix the corruption in Congress, okay? And I don't mean like I'm not. And the thing about it is, I'm not coming into the office being like, oh, all these people are bad. No, not all of them are bad. They've just been led astray. They've been corrupted by those who are corrupt, and I need to go in there and show them a better way of doing things. And those who can't and won't represent the people properly, they will be replaced with younger, like-minded people like me, who are for the future of America, who are for the removal of this cancel culture, because the issue with these people is they're not educated. Their opinions aren't informed opinions. And when you have that, their understanding of that thing they're talking about can truly be variable. You know what I mean? It can vary all over the place, because they don't know what's actually going on. And that's the issue. So I'm trying to give the younger people something to rally behind, somebody they can relate to, somebody who's been through their shit, somebody who's been homeless, somebody who's had parents that don't give a fuck about them, who wouldn't let somebody telling me what I could and couldn't do define me. Now, I may fail, I may not be successful, but I have to try. It's just plain and simple. When we have now in the app, I'm bouncing all over the place here. Now in the app, when that occurs, each person will have all their Congress people right there on it, what they stand for, what party they represent, how long they've been in there, all their policies that they've had. Like, I have a shit for work called AccuLinks. It's fucking fantastic. It keeps all my jobs recorded and all that shit, saying that it could be fucking hacked, it could be this, that, and the other. So could all the other elections. So can go into a fucking poll and voting. Because doing the right or wrong thing is left up to the individual. It ain't about race, it ain't about color, it ain't about gender, it ain't about fucking political party. Oops, that's my alarm. Roosters are crowing. I believe the Republican and Democratic Party don't allow people to debate if they're not for that party, because they're actually the problem. The Democratic and Republican Party are actually what's causing this country to be divided. moderates are the actually best fit for office in this capitalist system, because you have to have both, take from both sides. Moderates are the example of learning from history, okay? Like, okay, for example, learning from history. So, I went through a rough patch. I didn't get here without help. I went through hell and back with my woman, 4 years of hell. We stuck together. We went through so many hardships, homeless multiple times. I had to bum it up on at her mom's house and, the Meadows for a couple years. And the thing about it is, while I was there, I noticed that, how much they increased the rent, on just somebody like her mom and her mentally handicapped brother, as they make more. And the thing about that is, that's why they can never get out, because they increase it no matter how much they make. So they base it on income. But the thing about that is they make more, they have to pay more, so they don't get out of the ghetto. So it repeats a cycle. So I have a plan for that too, because I got help. Everybody needs help. I want to make the American dream more achievable. I don't want socialism. Fuck that. That's communism with extra steps. I want a booming capitalist system where the American dream and the pursuit of happiness is more achievable for everybody. Minimum wage is $20 an hour. And cost of living is an arm and a leg. You still got, places like McDonald's shit, you got to make like the prices increase. But like, as far as housing goes, you don't need to do that shit. It's unnecessary. You know how many houses there are? Fucking ridiculous. There's so many houses that are owned by banks that aren't even rented, that are condemned. It's ridiculous. I can't even begin to go over the stats with you because I'm not educated on them yet, but I know it's a fuck ton. So I have a plan for why I'm doing this later, because a lot of people may be offended by this. Okay, they may not understand this fully, but if you've watched already to this end, this is the most important part of all, on how we fix a lot of the issues. We basically make the government housing 5 years. Okay, 5 years to get your shit together, and it's not going to be based on gender. As long as you're not a felon, okay, you get to have that opportunity. Okay, and the reason that is, and this is how we're going to do it and make it so that everybody can be a part of the American dream and still have help to get there. Now, this is kind of controversial, like I said, and this may not be necessary once we get the minimum wage to $20 an hour. Even public housing may not even be a thing or needed. But in the meantime, my ideas for it is simply making it a 5-year thing. Okay, rent never goes above $250. Okay, and electric stays at no more than $50. Okay, making $300 the max amount you pay. And if you don't have a job, you pay $0. And here's the kicker with that. What we're going to allow is automatic approval for student loans for people who are in this housing. Okay, now they'll still have to pay those loans back once they're out of school, but they'll be given full transportation to school. They can live there for free while they go to school, so they don't remain there, and they eventually will be contributing members of this economic powerhouse that is the United States, instead of making them repeat the cycle and live in that and be, drones of the Democratic Party. Okay, and it's not okay. The Democratic Party is not for the poor. They are there to try to keep you poor so that you rely on them. That's the key factor. But I do believe everybody needs help. Everybody. I needed help to get where I'm at. If I didn't have my woman and her love and my daughter, I would not be where I am today. I would probably have been a statistic, or I probably would have been, lost along the way, and I would not be on the path that I am today. I don't know what it would be. I know I wouldn't be this successful. I can tell you that right fucking now, and I know I wouldn't be the kind of person I am without her, because she made me see that, I need to have empathy for others. I need to have remorse, and see other people. But the thing about it is, what people misunderstand is you can't enable people. Okay, you cannot, but you can't expect them to know what they're doing wrong if you don't educate them and show them how to do it properly. You can't just yell at somebody and expect them to know exactly what they're doing wrong. You got to show them how to do it. You got to show them how to fix it. You got to show them a better way. That's our jobs as parents. You know what I mean? So, my parents didn't really do that for me. They just kicked me out. They didn't care. At 18, they just after, they let me go through hell, put me on pharmaceutical cocktails for the first half of my life, and then didn't teach me a goddamn thing. Then my stepdad laid hands on me. I shot back up the stairs, beat the shit out of him, and I got kicked out. Left for dead. Tried to come back. My mom told me I wasn't welcome in her home. That night I almost died in a wreck. Still wasn't welcome. I mean, just completely cold-hearted woman. But yet, I'm the criminal. I'm the bad person because I smoke weed. Really? Really? Must be real America. Potheads are not the second-class citizens that everyone thinks they are. We're peaceful. We're thoughtful. We care about others and the environment. And the fact that the media portrays us all as a bunch of fucking dank and dabbies is disgusting. It's the same thing they do with Trump. They make him out to be a monster when he's not. Just like my mom makes me out to be a monster, and everybody I went to high school makes me out to be a monster. But all those people are ignorant because they have not even had a conversation with me since high school. They know nothing about me. They know nothing what I stand for. They have not even heard me speak or seen me past, 5 years? 7 years? Over 7 years. And the thing about it is, every 7 years, the human cells die and they regenerate. And every 7 years, you're actually a completely different human being. That's all for this video. I don't want to make it go too long to where nobody will ever watch it. And this is this one. I'm not really going to really share it. It's just one that I'm doing just to maybe educate people further. Maybe they'll watch it. Maybe they won't. Probably won't, because millennials don't want to watch something that's 50 minutes long. But, it's, like I said, I got to try. I can't promise anything because I can only be as successful as the people behind me allow me to be. I can only be as successful as the people in this country can be. Because a country can only be as great as the people who are in it. And right now, we're not going on the best path, guys. So follow me for a better way. And, I am always open to ideas from people. I'm always open to better ways. Send me videos. Send me something that I can learn. I love to educate myself further. And if you watch this far into my video, you deserve to know the truth on why I believe I am the most efficient member to go into Congress. Now, I know this sounds crazy. And I know they'll probably use this against me in the future, saying I'm insane and saying that I'm not fit for office because I think I was given a lifetime of knowledge from my father, spirit. But it's actually true. When I was holding my daughter, I was sitting there, and all of a sudden I just got hit in this epiphany on seeing the path before me and the path that I was on, and the path that was better for my daughter and a better future. And I just took the path that was better for my daughter, and I saw a way, and I just can't describe it. All of a sudden, the next day, I knew things I never knew before. I knew things in history that I never remembered learning. I know things about credit that I have no fucking clue how the fuck I know, but I know it. Same thing goes for politics and the economic infrastructure. I truly believe my father gifted me with this entire life knowledge somehow in spirit, because he saw me continue to do dumb shit. He saw me struggling. He saw his job wasn't done as a parent since he was gone. He gave me his life knowledge. And now I'm 26 with about 83 years worth of knowledge. My father was a very educated man. And now he gave me something that's so much more valuable than any money, than anything else in the world. I wish I could thank him and give him a hug for what he gave me. But I can't. And the best thing I can do is try to make him proud. Do the best I can with what life I was given. And now I'm 26. With a gift of so much knowledge. And then I have years to build on that and to add to that. Thanks to him. Sorry. I am human. I have feelings. I don't care if I cry. I don't care what people think. And those weren't tears of pain. My father's with me every day. Those tears of joy. Because the gift of knowledge is such a beautiful thing. Sorry about that. Give me a second. Talking about my old meds. It's a little emotional. But we learn from, and that man taught me the importance of history. Which is what led me to be so interested in history, which led me to learn from our past and learn from my mistakes, as well as our mistakes in history as a country, and apply them to the way I live my life and the way I continue to live my life and will continue to evolve. Now, I'm no different than you. I had to make a jump. Steve Harvey said every successful person has made a jump. If you ever watched the Apollo story, I recommend it to anybody. When the corona hit, I was working at Weaver Fab and finishing. Like $470 a week. It was alright. I was content with it at the time. But then they tried to drug test me for weed because I smelled like it one day. Because my mom really stressed me out and made me feel like I didn't matter. So I smoked a joint to feel a little better. I went to work, happy and in a good mood. I'm fully functional, It does not bother me. It does not impair my, actually the only injuries I have, if you look right here, to my Sharingan tattoo, that scar right there. Oh, you can see it, yeah. I'm checking the video. Okay, that was actually when I was sober, and I started thinking about all the other things I could be doing with my life than grinding this fucking box. Okay? And because of that, I get distracted and kick back and hit me. But when I was stoned, I was like, oh, I'm going to be the best pocket grinder. Listen to my music. Not giving a fuck in the world. But they tried to drug test me for that. And when I left there, I told my supervisor, I said, even high as shit, I'm still smarter than you. And that was true. I left there. I got offered a job. My buddy got me into a state waterproofing. I thought it was a labor job. Ended up being a canvassing job, okay, for a sales team. And when you have sales experience, that's your door open to big money. Okay? And what I did was I learned and took from every person that I could learn from there. There wasn't many. They were a band of misfits. But Brian and Brian Oswald, he was a lazy fuck, but he knew his shit. And then the other girl, I forget her name. She was really good too. Like the assistant. I forget her name. I can't remember. But I learned from them. I practiced during Corona. I went to, and I got really good at it, and I went to Lindsay Construction, where I used to work at as a laborer, and I tried to market with them because it's non-compete. They do roofs, we do basements, so I was like, fuck it. Little did I know it, I walked in and pitched the entire Lindsay sales team. By doing so, I walked into a 6-figure job opportunity. One like never before. So, that opened up a door. But at first, I was told when I was training, I was like, you don't get paid for like a month a month and a half after you start. And I got my last check because after the corona, I was put on the mass layoff, okay, after 3 days of being in Ohio State. And then I was qualified for the unemployment, but I still haven't gotten any of that. So I've always been trying to catch up, and I can't. Fuck. Not with Ohio State's money, so I had to make a jump. Okay. So I went to Lindsay Construction Design. Okay. I had to fight for that job 3 fucking times. I almost got fired because my boss didn't believe in me. Each time I had to prove him wrong. Bring a fuck ton of contingencies. And after the 3rd time, I stopped. After I finally got him, understand. I stopped going in ham because we all know I can talk. Everyone who knows me knows I can talk. People and, sell myself as well as sell, especially a free roof, basically. And the thing that makes me different from everybody else at that company is if somebody's poor and can't afford their copay, I will gladly pay half. Put a sign on the yard and I'll cover half your shit. As long as it's no more than $1,000. And that's huge for some people. You know how easy it is to, and when you have multiple reference, you cover half my copay. And that's, here's the thing. I can't, technically, a company can't cover that. But I can. Well, my memory's about up because I've been talking for too long. You stay classy, America. Watch my shit. And, you'll see that I know my shit. Not to be politically incorrect by saying shit, but still. Follow me, America. Let me show you a better way. And maybe our future will be much more bright if you follow Ebright'S. Stay classy, America.